Alright, this is our test. Uh, hi. Anyway, let me just start. Let's see. Hope everything is good. Hope everything is good. Okay, so for anyone who is here, this is a test, and I'm just trying to bring back live streaming. And I've also set up a website to help me with my live streams because I'll be using a lot of references. And today, let's start simple. I wanted to start with something like this, creating something like this, but this is too complicated. Uh, so I'm just going to do something simple for make sure that sound. Okay, yeah. So I want to start something with something simple for the test and make sure that everything is good. Just check here. Upload speed seems good. Everything seems good. Anyway, so yeah, maybe tomorrow we could try doing something like this. But today, because this is a test stream, I want to create something like this. And yeah, you can check out all the reference images and everything. Let me just paste this link into the chat for anyone who wants to follow along. I'll be Yeah, I've basically just corrected all the resources that I think I'm going to be using, including the reference image, which you can just click on here to take you to Pinterest. This is what we want to create. I also have other references. For example, the Sketchfab models I'm going to be using. This is by Vivana Niva, and yeah, a few models here that I think could be useful. So let's start something with something simple. Let me go with this here. I download this model here. It's a free model. Very simple, but very useful as well. Let's see. Let me go with this 2K GLB format. Oh, let me just go with this GLTF. I want this GLB. I think you can just download it directly. And want to use Blender 5.1 because I have a lot of add-ons installed in that, including my Rear UI add-on that I think I might use today. Okay, so let's. Where's my music? Okay, where is my model? Okay, so our fish is here. Everything. Okay, so this is our fish. I think I have enough screen space to add right back here. Other reference board here. So yeah, we are trying to make this scene here. So we can start with the animating the fish. Okay, so let's distance. Okay, so this is our fish. I want to give it that wavy animation. So we're going to be using a bit of geometry nodes for this, I think. And yeah, let me just go into geometry nodes and create a new. Should I do it here? No, I think I can create a cube. Merge this here. I think I can create a cube volume like this and set up some geometry nodes. Yes, this. Right. And just instance some points in it using the distribute uh, mesh to volume. I can use a mesh to volume and just distribute points on the volume. You don't want that many. that. Now, how do we animate these? How do we animate these? We can just convert these points to a curve, points to curve, and maybe change this to the type to spline type to Bezier or nabs. So that is smooth. Now this can represent the path of the fish. Actually, let me do that here. Let me reduce the density of these. Maybe so that will be the path of the fish. We can do instance on point. Is it? No, we can use a sample curve. A sample curve. That way we can we can have a point. Trying to think while I do this, and that point should follow the curve. So use the set position. So this point here can follow the curve using this factor. You can see now it follows the curve really well, and we can just instance on that curve. Instance on point. Yeah, like I said, this is still a test. I want to see how things work out, but I want to return to live streaming. I used to love it, but I got caught up in a lot of other stuff. And now we want to this have this follow the curve. Let's get the curve back. This line back here. I'm going to scale this down, and I can use the time node. Let's see what's going on. Have an error. Have the point. Yeah, you can see the point is moving. I need to slow it down using a math node here. I can set this to multiply by point 0.1. So yeah, you can see that the curve is moving. I don't know why we getting an error here. Realize geometry is not used to be. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I accidentally said that. Anyway, and we have our fish. Yeah, we have our fish there. It should follow the path just like that. Now we need what do we need? We need the orientation, so we can use the align vector, align rotation to vector, or is it align vector to rotation? I don't remember. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's the one. Yeah, we just need to change the rotation. I can use the rotate rotation. Rotate the rotation rotation to make sure that this lines up correctly. Let me see. Yeah, negative 90. So you can see the fish now follows. Does it? Not accurately, not as I want. Let me see. There is a line vector to vector, align rotation to rotation. Can I use the tangent maybe? I think the tangent will work. Let's rotate rotation so that we rotate this to towards the curve. Let's see it be 90 degrees. It's kind of working, but not there yet. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me just rotate the actual object itself using the transform geometry. Perfect. But I think it has to be negative 90 that follows the path. Yeah. So you can see we have a fish that follows the path, and we can also just look at the fish itself. We can animate it, give it that wiggling animation. So I think we can use a wave texture and use a set position. I think this is in the Z direction, so I'll just split or combine the Z direction and use this. Would it be in the? I need it to be a factor. Is it the Y? Can I reduce? Yeah, something like that. And I need. I think is the. Do we have that? I need to use the to animate this value using the position, and I can use vector math, vector math add, and just use the time, the scene time to animate this, and maybe make it faster. Multiply. I see. I don't want the head because if you see the reference, it's mostly the tail that waves. So I can grab a gradient, texture. Let's take a look at that. It's going in the wrong direction. I want a gradient that goes upwards. So let's do a position. Let's do a position and do a vector rotate. Rotate. A vector rotate. I want this to be on the Y. Perfect. And I maybe use a set position. I use a math node vector. A math node, a vector math to move the gradient because I want the influence to be mostly at the tail, so I can just use this as a mask for the animation. So using a math node, I can just use multiply, just like that, and we have a fish swimming. Okay, and the fish follows the curve. The curve is a bit too long, so uh, let's let's see. Maybe change the seed. Yeah, but you can see in this example we have quite a lot of fish. In fact, this generating the curves from points like this, I think, is not. It's going to give us a lot of vertical movement. Well, you see the motion is mostly horizontal. So what I'm going to do is just create a number of curves by instancing on points, and let me instance a lot of line curves here that run in the y-axis, and start -1, and then yeah, and the rotation can be random. So I'll do random value vector. I want the rotation to be mostly in the z direction. So we get something like this, and the scale can also be random. Yeah. So these are basically going to be the directions of the fish of fishes, and I think I want some vertical movement in the rotation. So add some random vertical movement like that. And let's see. We need to realize curve to points. We don't need these curve to points. We already have the curves. Perfect. Perfect. These are, and here we need to realize these curves. Perfect. And here, what do we have? We only have one fish following one path or one curve swimming. That is good. But if we have multiple points or multiple fish, so by just increasing this point count, we should have multiple curves or multiple fish, but we need each to follow its own curve by giving this curve index a value. You can see now each path has a fish, which is great. I think they have flipped. They're all going. They're all pointing down. Let me hide this original fish. Okay. Some don't have curves, so you know, but they seem to be pointing down. But we can fix that later. Just need to make sure that each curve has a fish. Perfect. Now we need to make the curves more interesting. We have realized them here. We can add some noise to them, but we need to resample them so that they have enough points. And I can use a set position and use a noise texture. Noise texture here. Let me use vector mask to subtract the offset 0.5, and let me add a multiply cross scale for the influence. Now you have the fish changing direction, and we can also strengthen the curve here. So perfect. And let me add a switch node here to hide the curves when I want. So this is geometry. So I can just look at the fish. Perfect. We need more fish. In fact, we can use can increase the density and also increase the curve count to get more fish. And if you want them to be in the same space, you can just go back to the curves here. Look at that, and just squeeze them using a transform node. Let me just scale them into the same cluster, and maybe I can reduce the random rotation so that they are kind of moving in a relatively similar direction. I think yeah, we have fish. So I don't know why the materials are not save this as fish. Again, if you are just getting here, we are this is a test live stream. I haven't streamed in a while, but you can find the references, the models we are using here, and yeah, the reference. This is the link in chat in case you want to see what we're doing. So we're trying to make this. Anyway, I'm not sure why they are. Let me see how many instances I have. I have 103 instances. So here I should also have the same count. This is 124. So there are more curves than instances, which I don't think should cause this problem. Let me see. If I just take a look at these cycles, go to the world settings and use sky. Now we do have a material problem. Let me look at the original mesh. Ah, okay, now it's fine. I think that was a bug. Okay, let's set up a camera, maybe around here. A camera, and I'm also going to create a cube, a container for all of this. The camera should be looking through this, and let me just move everything. Let me change the camera focal length. Perfect. Let's take a look at this. Okay, I'm going to use the same aspect ratio. It's 1080 by 1920. Take a look at this. So we have a hole here. Just going to open that up as well. Perfect. And turn on the noising for the viewport. And I think I'm just going to use an area light or spotlight. Use something like that. Where is my camera? Yeah, the camera has to be a bit back. Just grab that. Okay. Okay, so we have something like that. Let me give this some materials. I'm just going to use my library here. Grab some materials from Ambient CG. Grab this and just apply this. Just do a quick cube and wrap. And maybe bring the sun. And let's make these fish a bit bigger. Let me use a random value. all spread in one position here. I think we might want them to be a bit smaller. You have the original cube, so you can push that a bit. Okay, maybe increase the wave speed. Let's do 10. Okay, that's too fast. Let me take a look at the curves again, the original curves. Okay, this is a lot of curves, more than I expected. I think it's likely because of the noise. I think instead of using these distribute points to create the curves, I can just use the points node, and this will give me an advantage that I can have the same number of points as the fish. So this is going to be our points. I want several points. Right now they are using the same position, but I can use a set position to randomize them a bit using the random value. Set to vector, just to -1. Yeah, you can see that's a bit better. Maybe make them spread out a bit and spread out this side as well, just a bit like that. Giving us our original fish. But they're all going in the same direction, which might be what you want. And let me also bring back the noise. Let me resample this. Yeah, so those are the different paths for the fish. Perfect. Though the fish look upside down in some cases, I think that's a result of the rotation, the random rotation. So we need to figure out what gives these that random rotation. Let's see. Anyway, let me do for the curve. Let me do a set normal, set curve normal. Make sure that this all point up. Does that make any difference? Doesn't seem so. And now because we have a point, we're using the points node. We can use the same. We can use a value for integer input to determine how many fish we want and how many curves or path we want. So makes it easy for us. We can go to the original fish and go to the materials. make this. Let me give it some translucence, and let me look at the balls here. Give them, make them more darker. The RGB curves node, and maybe use less saturation. Okay, now we can either use. Should we use? Let's just use volume, volume object, create the same volume. So new material, I can use volume, principal volume. Yes, bring the density down. Though I think that's just going to cost us quite a lot. Instead of doing that, I'm just going to borrow this edge and just use that to create these these light streaks. So for this, we're going to give it a noise texture with translucence. And we can use emission and transparency. Mix that with the noise, and let me unwrap this. Click this to the UV editor. Let me add some color ramp contrast. Yes, so these are going to be our good rays. I need to stretch them in that would be in the Y direction. Something like that. And I think if I go to display and shading, is it under shading? I think under render. Yes, it is. That's under visibility. I think they shouldn't contribute to the diffuse or the glossy. And, need to play with the transparency bit here. I'm going to go to the viewport display as well. Change this to wire. Let me grab these and I think I need this to be an area light instead of a soft light, and point it directly down as well. This all here. Let's reduce the spread to something like 20 or 10. Basically, I'm trying to mimic what we have here, and these here. The edges are giving out, creating these hard edges here, and I want this to match the final position of the light. Let me use. I think I'm just going to round off these corners a bit so that they are much softer, and I can also use. I can use a layer weight. Use a mask color here. To create a mask. So that softens the edges a bit. think something like that. Just need to mix this. Mix color. This with this. I think this has to be inverted, maybe. Like this. Getting there. Do I need the opposite of this? Let me try inverting. See. Yes, something like that. Let me try a different approach. Maybe let me just use volume because this is taking too much time than I expected. Okay, so volume or volume scatter. Yeah, you know what? I think the volume is much better. Though is usually slower at rendering. Let's do viewport visibility set to where? Okay. Now we just need a mesh up here for the light gobos. I can use instead of using a transparency shader, which is also going to slow things down, just going to subdivide this mesh. Subdivide the mesh a few times. So I create 6 times like that, and I can use a delete node and just delete faces uh, by noise. So I'll just connect a noise texture. I use math node set to subtract. So we're basically getting the good rays. I don't want this to be visible to the camera, so I'll just go and display an visibility. Okay, and I can use coordinate animate to animate this. Okay, let me just use this, and I can see I can easily animate this as well, similar to how it's being done there. I can use a time. Let's do first. Let's do too fast. Let's just animate at the position instead. So do vector math and just animate maybe the y component. Just make this slower. One. Let me see how this looks in Eevee, because Eevee tends to render volumetrics faster. So do ray tracing and where is volumetrics? Volumes. Let's see the range we are working in. So let's do maximum 55. You see the volumetrics in Eevee are much faster and look even better, but yeah, they are much faster, but you lose a lot of detail. Let me add an extra light here. That doesn't produce any volumetrics, so influence volume scatter 0. Let me get the fast volumetric light. Okay. Now we still need to work on our fish. Which makes me wonder if the approach I had for the fish, if I need to revise that a bit, uh, instead of basing it on random points, let's try a different approach. So I'm going to instead use a curve so that I can easily direct where where the points are going. So let me just draw a curve. So the fish are going to swim in this direction, and in fact, this is much easier than what I was doing before. And I think it's a good opportunity to show how you can do the same thing, but from scratch. So let's do that. So we have our curve. We have our curve, and what we want to do is just instant create a lot of points using the points node. Let's say we have, let's say, 50 points for each fish, for the fish. So we can just use a sample curve to get the position of the curve, and just basically have the points follow the curve using a set position. This is much easier than what we had before. So you can see now we have a point that follows the curve. So we have all the points following the curve, but we can do a random value for the factor. So random value for the factor, so that each point is on a different position, and I can do a set position. Let's do, yeah, I can do another set position here, and just basically just randomize the XY direction. So I can randomize the positions a bit using maybe a noise. We're going to do a vector math, subtract offset. And I want each point to have a different position in the curve. So I'll do here. Yeah, so you can see we have different points, and if we play with this value, you can see they should be following the curve. Let me use some math mode here. Why? Let's see. They seem to be quite jumpy. Let me see. You're not behaving as I expect. Let's see if I add this here. Surprised the noise is not creating a stable path for this. Let me just use a random value here. Yeah, this is what I expected. All the points to move smooth. Yeah. So these are going to be our fish. So I can just use the instance on points, bring in our fish. We should be doing this. Perfect. And we already have the tangent, so I'll connect that here for the normal, and I use the align vector. It's depleted. Align rotation vector. So when this animates, you can see the fish are all going in the same direction, which is exactly what I expected. And I can use a type node here to animate that. I think I need to multiply this by -1. And let me connect this as just map the timeline to so 250 frames. Map it to this so that we have something like that. They do a flip here. I don't know what that is about. Let me see the curve itself. And point up and see if that fixes it. Yeah, seems to fix it. So these are now just going there, and I want this speed to be random. Their speed to be different. I will also randomly multiply the values here. In fact, think I think this has to go here. Yeah. So we have a negative one. Let's see. This align is not working as expected. Let's take a look at. Here's the camera. The camera. I start this somewhere here. I don't know why they're doing this flipping here. Maybe let me go back to cycles and take a look at this. This light would be too much in cycles, so let's bring it down. Hey, check sound. Oh, what's wrong with the sound, man? Let me see. Ah, uh, hello, data matters. Yeah, I'm not sure what's the issue with the sound. Is it not coming through or something? Let me do some compositing and maybe try to make this look better. Add some contrast. And I think the fish here needs some. Hey, let's try some translucence. Give it some orange tint. Is the sound low or something? I'm not sure. Let me see. Because here it looks okay. So I'm not sure. I'm also watching you working. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What are you working on? It's really hard to get these volumetrics, but think I think it's what sells this render. So let's get them. Let's and I don't think I like using the volumetrics. It's too slow and it's not giving me the results I want. So let me try a different approach. Let me just have it as a backup here, and you can see now we have this reduce the strength of this to something like that, and let's add maybe a water material up here, a water shader. So this, let's first go in the visibility, make sure it doesn't cast any shadows. Give it a new material. It's going to be reflective glass, and we don't need this anymore. This mesh here, but this isn't reflecting anything. So let's try bringing the world setting up. I'm going to use a noise texture for the normal. So let me add a normal texture here, normal map. Perfect. Let's stretch this in one direction and bring the string a bit down, just like that. And I like this yellowish sun. So let me add a sphere. Let me add just a shape like this above. Give it an orange material like this, just so we have something interesting up there. You can even use our noise texture to make the colors to make some slight differences in colors. Is the audio now better? And here we can animate the Z. Yeah, using the time. So hash frame divide by 10, maybe by 100 or 1,000. Perfect. Now let's take a look at the fish again. And I'm also going to go back to this wall and make it, I think, darker. And let me look at the UVs. Let's go back to the compositor a bit here. I think we have too much contrast. If I keep everything simple like that. Now let's work on the God rays here, because that's the thing that has been hard for me to do. What I'm going to do is instead of using, let me make it semi procedure. So I'm going to add. Should I use a curve? Let me use a curve. Vector. Let me set this to vector. So that's our curve. I'm going to use geometry nodes. So let's go to geometry nodes here, and first convert it to a mesh. No, I can use the tube, curve to tube node, and just use custom object geometry, line curve. I think this would be like here. Uh, So what I'm trying to do right now is the God rays. Apply the scale here. Trying to add God rays, and this is what I'm going to use here. Does this have UVs? I can give this a set material for this rays, and go to the shader. And what I want to do, first of all, is make sure that this object doesn't uh, cast any shadows, or yeah, it doesn't cast any shadows or contribute to the diffuse, glossy, or transmission. So it just exists in this space. And I'm going to use again an emission shader. So this and a transparency, then a noise texture, and yeah, we can see this should be what generates the gradient. Let me try using a ramp. I'm working on a project on soccer, and I am not good at making cloth. It's Is there a place where I can find soccer outfits? You can try Sketchfab. Sketchfab is usually a good place to start. You mean like garments, like cloth attires or something like that? Hello, Jody Notch. Are you? Okay, so these streaks have to be taller. So let's stretch them. Yeah, something like that. I don't know why it wasn't working very well last time. Let's see. And we have transparency. Can we swap these? Okay. And I need to push this object. So let me go back here. I need to push this a bit like that. Go back here. We need this to be a bit softer, so I'll use a mix node to mix these, make it less. I think, yeah, we're getting somewhere there. And I think we need to mix these noises a bit. So just duplicate this, make a larger noise, then blend the two, and yeah, have something like that. And we need to animate this X. So hash frame divide by 100 maybe. I can repeat it here. This maybe divide by 500 so that this layer is slower. Yeah, something like that. Then maybe this is less stretched, and it also needs to be less visible at the top and at the bottom. So we need a gradient. I think I need to rotate this. I think a gradient like this can also work. We can just multiply this over this. So the edges are a bit softer. I think I might need to I need to swap these. Yeah, it's starting to get there. We can even direct this now. Push the camera back a bit, and I still need to line up this, and go back to geometry nodes. I think I need to resample this curve and also resample this. Not giving me exactly what I wanted, but you can see the idea. Instead of using a volume object, I think this is way easier. Or sportswear. Yeah, there are not a lot of yeah. You either have to use Motherless Designer or you may end up having to buy something. Perfect. Still have take a look at this in cycles. I need to switch to cycles here and materials here. Change this to blended. Go back to cycles. trying to see what else we can do to make improve this. Maybe scale the fish down a bit. Randomize their scale. And I think we need something in the back here, something bright to expose, to have, to show the sky. So I'm just going to use an emission. Yeah, something like that. And the rest we can do some compositing. We can play with some compositing and see. Let's try bringing back the contrast a bit. Contrast node. We can do tune image, do a color boost, and for the fish, if I show wireframe for this, right, for the fish, I can go back to the materials, introduce some new colors. So I'll use an object info node and just connect the color, the randomness to color RAM so that each fish gets a slightly different color. The transparency. Yeah, so we get some color variation there, and you can see this here. This light detail here are also doing a lot of work to make this scene look better. Hello, hello, Su Wonley. Are you? Yeah, so we can obviously it's going to be very hard to project to create these gobbles here, but I think let me see. Can we do this directly from the light? I think if you do a noise texture, let me see. And let me go to the source, set it to one, maybe this set to color. I want to see if I can get those. Yeah, I think we can. We can see. I can see them here. Just need to make this more powerful, and you can already see we get that. Maybe soften the edges a bit. So you see, we have the light, and even these gobos or shadows. So let me go back to the area light. We need this to be animated. So I don't want to just go in Z direction. I think. Yeah, let me use this hash frame divide by 10. That's too fast. by 1,000. I think my scene scale was is a bit too much. That's why some figures are not working very well. Because if you take a look at the size of my scene, it's 55, 58. Right. I think another thing I'm noticing is that this opening is bigger than mine, so maybe that's also helping. So let's make it bigger as well. Make everything bigger. Push the camera back. Yeah. So another thing I don't want to see is these hard edges on the god rays. So I think I can just grab a gradient and rotate it to face up. Yeah. And just multiply this over. Yeah. So you can see the god rays are no longer going to touching the ground. So I think I need this to be scaled as well. This should be as reflective. Oh, now it's the fish that needs work. But overall, the scene we are getting somewhere with the scene. Maybe let's increase the strength of these. Give them a slight tint as well. I don't know what I have got wrong with in the follow path here. Let me see. Try using do 120. Okay. So add random value here. From 120 to 250. Does that random? Okay. That does randomize things a bit, exactly how I want. Yeah, you can see that they are now following the curve, but the issue is The alignment is still off. I have to see the original curve. Let me see. Hello, and sailors. How are you? In that rotation. Hmm. Okay, okay, okay. I'm seeing what could be causing this. Although project files are going to be available for free if you want to examine this, and maybe I'll correct everything after because I can't figure out why this is creating some issues. Let me do a set position here, randomize. Anyway, I think I'll figure that off offline, so I don't spend too much of your time. But this is where we where we left off. Oh yeah, I think there are a lot of things I could do differently to improve this, but I use Sky Texture here. I think you can see the idea. The fish are still not following the curve as I expect, but yes, even they're not even swimming as I want. If I don't randomize their positions here, then each fish follows the curve as I expect, but except the rotation. So let's look at the instance itself. Let me first get the alignment correct of the individual fish. I don't even know why sometimes they're rotating in the opposite direction. Let me see. Is that a scale? I think it's a scale problem. Yeah, they should all be. And here they twist and rotate in the opposite direction, which is not something they should do. Let's see. Tangent. Yeah, this is, I think, how they should be. And then now I just have to rotate them, rotate the object itself with a transform node here, 90 degrees. So each fish follows the curve correctly. I can also come here to the curve. First, come here. I can add some noise to the curve so that it's not smooth. Use a set position and add a noise texture to the curve. Vector math, subtract 0.5. I can resample the curve a bit here. Yeah, because I don't want the curve to be this 2 point something. Yeah, so the path is not, yeah, and I want let me see, change the positions. I want to spread out the fish. Okay, now I want to randomize their positions, and I think another way we could do is duplicate the curves so that we have more than one curve. So that, and then each curve, and then each path, each fish gets its own curve. So I think I can just do duplicate elements here, and we're duplicating splines. Let's say, how many fish do we have here? We have 50. So we can duplicate 50 splines and randomize their positions. So let me do a set position and just do a random value, random vector for their positions. And I need to evaluate on by curve, by spline, sorry. So vector. Yeah, so they basically following relative at the same direction, but a bit different path each. And I need to spread this even out by scaling this a bit. Yes. So now each fish gets its own path instead of all following the same relative path. What else can we do here? I think I can also randomize the noise a bit by changing this to 4D and using the index. Again, evaluate by spline. Yeah, so each spline gets a random path, a random noise. Sorry, and here, if we take a look at this, we can see all the fish are taking the same path. But if we use the index, now each fish takes its own path. Yeah, that's better. I need to reduce the noise. Yep, that's exactly what I wanted. So you can easily now direct uh, the curve. And I like that. I like that. The speed is determined by the length of the curve, or I can add a multiplier here, a math node here. I think here, multiply to reduce. Okay, going to use a divide by 10. Hmm. Yeah, slow down other fish a bit. So yeah, I like that. Like that. Yeah, we came very far, but we got there. So and I want this to be smooth. So I think I need to, after duplicating here, I need to change the curve type, set spline type to nubs, so that this is smoother. Can I close curve? Can I close the curve? I don't remember the node, but I think another thing we could do is let me bring back the old volume. Get rid of this. The old volume box. But instead of using the volume scatter, I can throw in a volume absorption, and that will make it look like we are under water. So let's add in some volume absorption. Just, it will give water a little bit of tint. Reduce it a bit. And, this is much faster. And another thing we could do, the fish is still going too fast. Can come in here. So let's see. Yeah, we can animate fish, the fish motion. So right now it's just static. Just static. But we can use again a noise. I think we have already done this. We can use that wave texture and use a set position. No, we've already done this. I don't remember which project was that. Take a look at this. Uh, hey, interesting. Not sure why this is not being evaluated. Anyway, that could be for the next part. Oh, I think it's because I was in edit mode. Is it? Yeah, I was in edit mode. Anyway, how much your channel makes? The channel itself doesn't make a lot of money. I know YouTube doesn't make a lot of money, but I have Patreon and yeah. Anyway, so I think I want to add the waving, the fishtail waving. So let me add a gradient, a gradient texture. Perfect. And I need to push it into a position node. Do vector math. Yeah, something like that. And I can use a wave texture. A wave texture to do a set position. Uh, so this is going to be in the. Let me see. It should be in the Y. Yeah. Yep. So something like that. We have a fish that waves. That I need to add. Come here. Use the position node. Just do a vector math and add time to this. Let's use a math node. Multiply by. Okay, so now we have a fish, but I don't want the head to wag as well. So that's why I'm using this mask, this gradient to multiply. I think I need the reverse, so I'll use a float. I'll use a clamp, a car ramp to flip, reverse this. And I need, I need to blur this value so that it's much softer. So I'm going to get an node, the attribute, perfect. And now if we look at other fish, they should also all be uh, wagging their tails. Perfect. Let me get. Let me add back the switch node. Set this to geometry so that I can turn off the lines whenever I want. I'm going to go back to this. I think I need to reduce the saturation so that's a bit darker, so that we get the same vibe here. And I'm going to go back to the volume object here. And if I need that, I think the rest is mostly compositing. Maybe make the fish. Let me reduce the light strength here and see. Okay, this here. should not contribute any light to the diffuse or glossy or transmit. Only transmission. Maybe? Yeah. Let's go back to the compositor. This looks too gray for some reason. Very few colors. Maybe come back here. You have to do a lot of tweaking to get this to look right. I'm going to add an extra light just for the fish. So let me make it really powerful. Maybe just like that, but it should not. It should. We can set up some light linking. I want it to only affect the fish. Let me call this fish gen, and this is the original fish. So both of these should go in this light collection. I think I can also give this some tint. So let's see if I get rid of this light. Get rid of this light. We're still getting a lot of light in. If I get rid of this, this is still contributing a lot of light as well. So let's come in here and under visibility, we have transmission, glossy. Let's set up light linking as well for this so that it only affects the water. So light linking, I just grab the water, I call this water, bring in the water. Interesting, interesting. I guess this should not affect. It's also contributing light, which I don't want to happen. So without it, this is what we get, and I think I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to get rid of it completely. Maybe just increase the strength of this to go back to the compositor, add a vignette. There may be some. Just bring back the color tuning. Let me go to the rendering and the film. Let me bring back and a color management. Let me use high contrast and see. I think I need to render out this to see how the image looks. But I can do that when streaming. But I think this is not too bad. Let me go back to the fish material here a bit. do a mixed color. Hmm. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for today. I think I'm going to render this out and see how